older brother, Charlie.
Can I sing?
No.
Charlie, this is a great book. Talk about mentoring and other issues that you feel are so vital to what you do and making a difference to the youth in all around the world.
Well, thanks, Howie. First, I got to tell people I'm very guilty about this book because no such thing as a bad kid, because I wrote it before I became a parent. My next book is There's Only One Bad Kid, mine. But the good news is she's doing great. I'm only kidding. There's Julie. Can we point at Julie? She's an awesome daughter. I couldn't have done it. It's a great job. It's a great job. Actually, you mentioned that I'd be talking about mentoring. Mentoring is really a form of support. And what I'd rather start out with is just the power of support. More and more studies indicate that if you want anybody in life to do better, you want to do better, you need to have a strong social support network. You need to have support. In my workshops, and it's kind of interesting that we're here today, because in my workshops, I always ask people, I say, how come we have so many troubled kids in this world? You know, why are people like me and you so busy? And people say a few things, and I say, answer 2 questions, and you'll see my take on this. And then I ask the whole audience, I say, how many people in this room know the neighbors on your street the same way you knew your neighbors when you were a little kid? 1 in 100 go up. Then I ask, how many of you know your extended family, see your extended family the same way you did when you were a little kid? And rarely a hand goes up. You know, I say, you know, that's why we have so many troubled kids in our society. 60 years ago, you could be a single mother raising 4 kids on your own, working in a factory 50 hours a week, and you raise 4 really happy kids. Why? Uncle Benny lived across the street. Your uncle's over there. You knew your neighbors. Now, you know, and 50 years ago, you could walk out your front door, down your steps, up your walk, and then this is going to be very interesting for Howie and some of the young people out there. 50 years ago, you could actually walk out your door, down your steps, up your walk, and you came to something that's very interesting here. That was usually about 4 feet wide, and Howie, they used to call them sidewalks. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
They had those in America years ago. You know, they were about 4 feet wide, they were often made of gravel and cement, and you could actually walk onto the sidewalk, and you had free will, you go left or right. Now, more and more towns in America are being built without sidewalks, cul-de-sacs. More and more towns are being built without sidewalks. I heard the mayor of Milwaukee rail against architecture. He said, my town, it's falling apart because we have no sidewalks. You know, so 50 years ago, you could walk onto that sidewalk, take a left, you walk a few steps, and there's neighbor Ned. Hi Ned, there's your uncle Billy. And then after a few minutes, you came to something that we call the local store. Now you could walk 100 miles, you don't have a local store, you have Walmarts. You know, and don't talk to me about Facebook. Facebook's not coming over your house if you have an emergency. If you have an emergency, 20 people are going to comment on it. You know, 30 or 10 are going to actually like it. Hey, you know. But the reality is, we've lost our support networks. You know, and it's interesting talking about this today because I'd say about 12, 13 years ago, maybe, Steve, I was talking about this in a workshop, and I said, you know, what a hypocrite I am. Haven't seen the Appelstein side of the family in years. We always got together for July 4th, bar mitzvahs, Hanukkah. I said, what a hypocrite. So I went home, got on the internet, and found all the Appelsteins. And we had a family reunion at my house. I still remember it. And I did a scavenger hunt. I had 10 questions. Find the Appelstein with the greatest memory of Grandma Bubby. Find the Appelstein with a funny story about Uncle Leo. Find the Appelstein who drove the fathers to get here. People are hugging, kissing. And now, 12 years later, we're stronger as a family than we were as a kid, wouldn't you say?
Support.
Yeah. And it's about support. My stress level since we brought the family together is much less. During the year, if I need wallpaper paint, I call Ben. You know, if I need some spiritual, I call Steve. If I need a lawyer, I call Cookie. Even though she got divorced, we still love her. You know, if I need to drop the dog off, I call Lee. You know, if I want sports, I call you. I mean, I know it makes my Bo. You know, years ago, I realized that putting music into my work with kids had a magical effect on them. Bo is this amazing musician. So we have like 2 CDs that are used all over the world now.
Great.
Self-talk CDs that Bo inspired. He found all the musicians. And this is another great story. His son Adam at the time was your classic adolescent. Brilliant kid, but not applying himself. He records our CD, falls in love with recording, gets back on track, goes to a 4-year college where Bo went in St. Louis, and he's now one of the top audio recorders in, you know, but it's like amazing. It's amazing how connect. And so, you know, I was going to talk about mentoring. Mentoring is just another form of support. Whether you're a parent, an adult, you know, a professional, it doesn't matter, kid, if you increase their support, they're going to do better. And I was going to talk about mentoring. I could say it in 30 seconds. If you bring a kid who's kind of a lonely kid, an angry kid, an isolated kid, and you match them up with a mentor, you can change that kid within days. All the experts in the world will tell you if you want to change a kid, establish a positive relationship. Last, I just need 30 seconds more. And to make a nice way to end this is when I took over as a program director of a residential center about 20 years ago, I knew how powerful mentoring was, and I knew none of the kids in my program, abused, neglected kids, had adults in their life like that. I started a mentor program. I hired all the mentors. I trained them all. When we had enough, I told the executive director, that's it. Don't run the ad anymore. He said, I think I ran it. I paid one more week. The ad ran one more week. One more woman came in. She wanted to be matched with a tough adolescent. I matched her with a tough adolescent, and then 10 months later, I married her. That's Cheryl.
All right.
She wouldn't be here. So my daughter wouldn't be here today if it weren't for mentoring.
All right. Charlie, great job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, I can't